What's up, y'all? Riley Smoky Mountain Overland, and today I'm going to give you an update on our Overland build, how it's going, what we like and what we don't like, and what is in store for this Gladiator. It's a little breezy, so bear with me as I try to shoot in between gusts of wind. But if you watched my original video on this Gladiator, why we chose a Mojave, kind of our plans for it, you'll notice that I had 3 goals, and those were function over flash, keeping the weight down, and focusing on overlanding, camping versus off-roading or other things you might use the Jeep for. So this is an update. We've kind of got the basics of those 3 goals nailed down. Obviously we've done some modifications to this thing. So I want to go over those modifications, which ones were worth it, which ones maybe weren't, and things that we've learned through this process that we might need to change up, we wouldn't do again, or we need to do in the future. So let's get into it. So I think it's pretty clear that the highlight of this build so far, and what makes this a mullet Jeep, you know, business in the front, party in the back, are the Alucab Canopy and our Free Spirit Recreation Evolution hard shell rooftop tent. That was a mouthful. I've done videos on both of these modifications, in-depth reviews of our experiences with them. To summarize, and in case you don't want to go watch those videos, these are 2 game-changing modifications that we've made for camping. We've had rooftop tents, bed racks in the past. These are by far the best that we've had, and they're the best combination together that we've had. The Canopy is amazing, and I'll splice in some B-roll here so you can kind of see the features. But we have 2 half cabinets, one on each side. We also have Alucab's ammo box slide, which allows us to use front runner wolf pack boxes, which is phenomenal use of space. It gives you that kind of layered organization that you want. And then this tent has the footprint of a hard shell, but it pops up instead of being like a clamshell or a wedge, which gives you enough space to sit up there, read, hang out if the weather's bad. Both of these have built-in lighting, so it's phenomenal if you're camping in the winter and it gets dark early, or you just like stay up a little late and watch your show or whatever. But we love both of these modifications. We would do them both again in a heartbeat, and so the highlight of the build is also our favorite part of the build. So A+ for both of these modifications. So I know what you're thinking, Riley, are you really gonna crouch for this whole segment? Yes, I am, and here's why. This is one of the only flashy modifications we've made to the Jeep. I don't even think it's that flashy. I think this bronze is kind of understated when it comes to like bronze or gold wheels. However, these are probably our second favorite modifications to the Jeep, and that is the Anthem Off-Road Rogue wheels and the General Tire Grabber ATXs. Both have been fantastic. We really love the way that this bronze pops with the white. I think it complements it really well. And the folks over at Anthem Off-Road are amazing. We have a great relationship with them, both on a professional level, and I would consider them friends at this point. And then the Grabber ATXs are a all-terrain tire. On our previous Gladiator, we had mud terrains, and while they were great, we do a lot of highway driving because we're traveling all over the country. That's kind of the point of this overlanding thing, is to get out there and see what you can see. So we went with something that was a nice hybrid tire that would perform really well off-road while still being quiet, more fuel efficient, and more durable long-term on-road. And these have really checked all those boxes. I have nothing but good things to say about these. Traction is incredible. Far better, by the way, in slick, like ice and snow environments than the mud terrains ever were. And they haven't let us down on any other type of terrain yet either. They're incredibly quiet, and we have, I don't know, about 15,000 miles or so on them, and they're not even showing a bit of wear. One of our recent trips, we had a screw go into one of the tires, and it was a good 4 or 5 inches. I had to unscrew it with pliers to get it out, and it didn't puncture. You know, it hit that the metal in there, and didn't go through. So super happy with the quality of these. Not that it really matters when it comes to tires, but these are made in the US, so that's a pretty cool little perk. And if we could do it again, yeah, we'd go with the 35s. We'd go with these bronze Anthem off-road Rogue wheels, and we're just really happy with this combination. On the front of the Gladiator, we are rocking a rock hard 4x4 full width aluminum bumper and a Smittybilt X20 Gen 2 12K winch with synthetic line. This bumper was on my wish list for a long time, and I could not bite the bullet to pony up and buy it. They're very expensive, especially for the full width, the aluminum. However, I got this on a scratch and dent sale. It was missing some hardware. I had to do a little painting, but it was really minor stuff. And I got it for like 65% off or something crazy like that. So I pulled the trigger, I took a risk on it, not knowing what the damage would be, and it was very minimal. So I'm so happy I did. This bumper weighs a total of, I think, 37 pounds. So it's actually less than the plastic bumper and the skid plate that comes on the Mojave. So we actually shaved a little bit of weight off and got this incredible high quality American-made bumper. So very happy with that. Lucked out for sure. The winch we've used a handful of times now, 5-6 times or something like that, usually to recover other people, and it's done its job. It's never failed. We've never even really worried about it failing. The synthetic line saves a little bit of weight, so that's nice. It's one of the few things where if I were to do it again, I might spend a little bit more money to support an American company like Warn. But for what it is, and with how infrequently we use it, this Smittybilt winch has done great. I know some people have complaints about Smittybilt. Maybe the quality control is not always there. For us, it has been. It's functioned exactly how you want a winch to function. So check mark there. Before we head to the interior of the Jeep, I just want to talk about these. These are the most recent addition to the Jeep. It's a really, excuse me, sir. It's a really simple modification if you can get these hinge bolts out. Some of them were painted in and required a little bit of persuasion, we'll say, but we got them out. These are from Metal Cloak. You'll see a lot of knockoffs on Amazon. These are made in America. They're stainless steel steps. They're great if you can get on them. You'll notice that this Jeep still has the factory rock sliders, which don't have a step. So this is a pretty substantial step to get up to. We found that if we just open a door and step on the sill to get up there, it works great. We can use it to set up and take down the tent, but we definitely need some sliders with steps to use these to the potential that they have. But yeah, I'm happy with them. I think they look pretty cool, and like I said, they are functional. They could just be more functional with some step sliders. So we've made a few modifications inside the Jeep as well. One of our very best friends in the industry that we like to support is Vector Off-Road. They've been really great to us. We've stopped by their shop in Provo, Utah several times and just kind of chit-chatted and stuff. Great people. They make great products. And this is their E-Dock full width. And it mounts into factory mounting locations, which is great. It's super solid. You could pretty much shake the Jeep with this thing. We run a pretty basic setup. We have a camera mount up top, RAM mount, a RAM mount for our tablet, which we use for off-road navigation, and then a RAM mount for my phone, just so I can stay hands-free, eyes on the road, if Hannah's not with me to handle that kind of stuff. We've done a couple other things in here, which I will show you. One of these is something I'm really proud of, is this custom touch. I made this. I dabble in leather craft, and I think it just complements the orange accents pretty well, and just kind of gives it that, you know, unique personal touch, which I think all Jeeps kind of need. So let's move on to our Invictus Off-Road Molly panels. These are his Molly visor panels. They just fit right around your factory visors and give you some Molly, some cool color as well. They're really nicely done. They leave all the factory cutouts and everything, so it's really nice. This side over here, you see you can have your garage door opener, take your wife with you. We also have Dave's Molly, get it to focus, grab handles, which I'll hop out here and show you real quick. They're great because they wrap around the entire roll bar. You can see they're up top too. Just Velcro right on there. They're cut out perfectly. And so they're super secure. He uses these mountain bike grips, so they're very comfortable. They're kind of like tacky, so they're easy to grip, and they're not going anywhere. They're not only wrapped around the roll bar, but they're also weaved into the Molly, so they are very, very firm. They're not going anywhere. And then in the back, we have the handles for the back as well. We also have his headrest panels, which are great for storing like first aid kits. That's usually what'll be on this panel. And then over there we have our fire extinguisher. Dave makes great stuff. He makes seat back panels, headliners, which we also have in the back. It's a little dark, but we have ours with some Velcro, so we can put our patches up of every state that my wife and I have been to together. Just little mementos of our journey together. But Dave's awesome. He makes this stuff for JLs, JTs, JKs, even like a few other trucks like Super Duties and stuff, I think, UTVs. So check him out, Invictus Off-Road. I'll drop a link in the description, and you can check out Dave. He's doing some really cool stuff. All right, y'all, it's sounding like it's gonna storm, so I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. In the bed, I have a bed rug instead of like a spray-in bed liner. I went with this because it's removable. It has a nice layer of foam under there, and it's soft. So if you're ever to transport things that are fragile, you wanna lay down, which I admittedly have, you can do that, and it's comfortable. It'll keep your things a little bit safer. It's also, you can pressure wash it. So if anything spills, even though it's like this fabric-y material, you can wash it right out. Goes up all the sides and everything. It's really nice. To summarize, we're pretty happy with all the modifications we've made. The one thing you'll notice that we haven't done is suspension, and that's because, as I mentioned in our first video about this Mojave, we chose the Mojave in large part because of the suspension. It's fantastic from the factory. It's like really dialed in. The shocks are just phenomenal shocks, especially coming from a manufacturer. So our intention was to stick with that suspension as we build, feel out how it handles weight, if it can handle all this overlanding stuff, right? Because when we're loaded out, we're heavy. The answer to that question is it can't. So we bottom out pretty frequently on trails, and I'm not talking about when we're bombing through the desert. I mean, you come off, the smallest ledge, we bottom out. That's not the biggest deal in the world, but as this build gets more involved and gets heavier, that's going to become an issue. We don't have as much suspension travel as we'd like to because of that issue. The Jeep also just isn't tall enough. So in Ouray and Moab, last fall, we scraped the heck out of our skid plates, which is why they're there. So no harm done, but we were hitting everything, especially towards the back of the Jeep. A lot of dragging. So we do have to go higher. And one issue that we've run into is that because the Mojave suspension is unique, Jeep actually changed some of the bracketry underneath. Not a lot of companies have come out with kits for the Mojave specifically. AAV has a spacer kit with shock extensions, but they're really the only one, and that does not solve the problem of the additional weight. So one thing that we have learned and that we need to change is that this suspension is simply just not going to cut it for an overlanding build of this magnitude. So lesson learned, and I guess that's a good transition into what comes next. What comes next is suspension, solar on the tent. We have a panel ready to go, and I'm going to build out the bed a little bit to give us a storage system that I can remove when I need to. But overall, we're very happy with this Jeep. We've learned a lot that we can, I wouldn't call this a minimalist build by any means, but it's not over the top like a lot of builds that you see. And we've been beyond happy, not perfectly happy. We've been beyond happy with the modifications we've made, keeping it a little bit more mild. And I'm excited to see what comes next. So I hope you'll follow along, and we'll catch you on the next one.